our first 13-channel receiver from Denon, so AVR X8500H.
And it 13 channels of amplification, including the possibility of putting 6 channels overhead for Dolby Atmos, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we are support configurations as well as 9.1, 9.1.4 seating speakers or full seating speakers. And if you want to go to your full seating speakers, you can add 2 front wide speakers. Yeah, lower price point. So we most affordable Dolby Atmos capable AV receiver. That, the biggest difference with this guy, with our flagship, is our 7.1.6. So in this month, it's our 150 watts and 20k hertz measuring 2-channel rhythm. The product name either AV8805.
So that's a new processor in the Marantz line. Tell me again how many channels that has?
13.2 channel.
13.2 again, okay.
Welcome, guys, and what we were just taking a look at was the Marantz 8805 preamp processor deal. Now, Sound and Vision brings us to the 8805, talking about the HDMI 2.1 upgradable flagship. If we look at this, what this is separates. There's a predecessor to that, and I'll talk about that, but this is the first 13-channel preamplifier that can handle a 9.2.4 or a 7.2.6 configuration, meaning 6 overhead height channels. So, that comes in handy for someone like me that's wanting to operate a total of 15.2 channels, specifically why? For wide channels. What that does is allow you to essentially have 4 height channels and a set of wide front channels, or front wide channels. And in addition to using that, you can also use an additional pair of height speakers. So we could either go with 6 height speakers, or as we saw there, 9.2.4. Even throwing Oro 3D in the mix. And this is actually one of the first AV devices from these brands that are going to offer an upgrade to HDMI 2.1 when hardware available. This means, guys, that the 8805 is technically the world's first 13.2 channel, full 4K Ultra HD surround preamplifier, and using something I'm a fan of, the enhanced audio return channel, for one of the first times in an audiophile grade quality device like this. But now I'm going to show you something from AVS forums. This is actually a little step down from that 8805. What the 8805 is obviously separates, so preamplifier and separate power amplifiers. If you're wanting to go a more cost-effective route and use an AV receiver, well, your best choice is this, the Marantz 8012. This is the first AV receiver from Marantz to offer Oro 3D out of the package, as well as 11.2 channels of amplification on board. But there's obviously a catch, as there are drawbacks to everything. So if we noticed, the 8805 is a preamplifier that sits at about $4,000. That'll do 15 channels, 13-channel processing, while this guy is much less money, but only does the 11 channels. So actually 11 speakers will connect to this bad boy, and at 205 watts per channel, I don't think you even need a power amplifier. Not to mention this guy as well is going to support the enhanced audio return channel with a firmware upgrade. But that is essentially the main downfall. You cannot run the same setup with the 8012 as you can run with the 8805. But I can tell you this, after myself personally having to make the determination of going AV separates versus AV receiver for my dedicated home theater, well, if it ever does happen, I will be choosing separates. It looks like I have found the preamplifier I will be using, the 8805, if I can ever afford it, paired up with a decent power amp, as you see here, that's going to be amazing. So I think, honestly, whether you add a Parasound, a Rotel power amp, an Emotiva, I think you're going to be safe either way with getting high-quality audio out of that 8805. Which I think, guys, that fact alone, or on that note alone, is going to explain to you why separates are better. You're able to do a lot more with them, even though they are, higher costing. Even if we got the best receiver that I could recommend, either the Rotel RAP 1580 or something like this 8012, you're still not going to have the amount of channels of processing that 8805 can perform. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up, and as usual, don't forget to subscribe.